Hey guys, how's it going? Michael Troy here. Today we're looking at Fantastic Four #1, the Facsimile Edition. I am so excited to bring you this one today. It is so cool. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button and let's get right into it. I'm definitely planning a video to explain what Facsimile Editions are, the difference between that and artifact editions and whatnot. If you guys want to see that video, please feel free to leave a comment in the video. But until then, I will explain that Facsimile Editions are exact reprints of the comic book, exactly how they appeared back in the day, from cover to cover, including the ads, house ads, other ads, whatever. So good. I did get the sketch cover because if you follow my channel, you know that I've been threatening to start doing sketch covers as an artist myself. And I don't know, should I auction them off on eBay, sell them on an Etsy store? What do you think? Any fellow artists out there want to offer their opinion on that? Do you guys like sketch covers? I don't know. Who gives a crap about a Michael Troy sketch cover anyway? Like, you really, like, I feel like the reason they're doing these is like you buy the sketch cover and then you get like your favorite artist to draw on a cover. I don't know. Who knows why they're doing them, but I can't help but keep buying them. This is so interesting to me. This is like the gold standard in superhero comics. I mean, this cover forever burned in our brain, homage to death ad nauseum for the past, what is it, 60 years now? Oh my gosh. 60 plus years. And if not more, I can't do math. Oh my gosh, whatever. Anyway, there are so many fascinating things about this because there were like few comic tropes when it came to superhero teams, because this is like one of the first superhero teams. It's interesting because I am so used to seeing the world's greatest comic magazine over the front, and I guess that would be a bold proclamation on the first issue, but arguably it is. I love this cover. I mean, there's so many things going on there. You have the Fantastic Four using their powers. I love that they're all talking. It's kind of interesting that they don't have their costumes at this point. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's not even here. Like, they keep referring to it as Central City. Like, we don't even know that it's New York, to be honest with you. I love that the background's white and just sort of like this perspective. It just has like going to nowhere and the mole man bursting through the city, which is interesting because I just put together that this should not be taking place. Like, I love a good favorite comic strip of mine is that when the cover depicts an actual scene from the book, and this sort of shows what's going on in the book, but it's not an actual scene, and we'll find out why. We open the team is already together, so we're sort of getting the origin retroactively. I mean, how many poor little geeks wasted their money trying to be Charles Atlas back in the day? I don't know. Probably all of them. I love that Reed has this gun, this flare gun that shoots out like a whole like a sentence of the Fantastic Four, and then as it dissipates, we will see later, it turns into like a four. Like, it's so crazy. And the team isn't together. Reed Richards, who looks like he should be like Grandpa Richards, is engaged to Susan Storm. It's so funny and interesting how like the language is so different and the just everything are so different. Like, your suspension of disbelief. Like, Sue's at this woman's house having tea, and then she gets the signal to join the Fantastic Four, and she doesn't just excuse herself. She turns invisible and walks out, like, without saying a word. Like, they're kind of assholes in a lot of way. And so if that wasn't good enough to just like ghost, literally ghost her friend, right in front of her, she leaves and like bumps into people, knocks over people, gets into an empty cab, and then like sort of makes fun of him when he can't see her. She's like, take your money, stop gaping, man. Like, it's so funny. And then we have Thing in here trying to buy clothes that fit him. So apparently he's just kind of like walking around in a trench coat, a fedora, and sunglasses like all the time. And then he gets the signal and he's like, screw it. I'm just gonna whip off my clothes and burst out of here. Now, mind you, he was able to get into the store just fine. And then on the next page, he's lamenting the small size of doorways and bursts through the window, completely destroying the clothing store on his way out. The cops are coming for him, and he is like, yeah, no, I'm not dealing with you. rips off a manhole cover, like ripping the street in the process, drops to the sewer below, lets it carry him a couple of blocks, and then he realizes he's probably where he needs to be. Unfortunately, there's not a manhole conveniently located here that he could rip open the earth, so he's just going to rip open the earth without one. So they're already like sort of menaces to society, and we're only on page 5. It gets worse. Here's Human Torch, like getting his car fixed or something like that. Tester, I don't know, in a shop. He gets the signal as well, and cannot step out, cannot wait, which has gone from a sentence to a number 4. I guess that's Johnny's. Like maybe he's not smart enough to read. I don't know. I also like the evolution. Like, first of all, it says by Stanley and Jack Kirby, so we don't know who lettered it. We don't know if there's an anchor at this point. I don't know if Jack Kirby inked it himself or if this is Joe Sinnott yet. It kind of doesn't look like Joe Sinnott, but I don't know. Who knows the evolution of that, right? No colorist credited, and I love the crazy colors are all over the place and so good. They add so much to it. I love how the Human Torch flame almost looks liquid at this point. And anyway, he just like slags the car, flying out of it, destroying it. So I don't know who the hell these people are supposed to help. What the menace here is that they're all coming for. Oh yeah, so and he just destroys all these jets. Luckily, the everyone parachute out of it. Here comes the heat-seeking missile, and this is the best. Reed intervenes with his big arms, and then Johnny's falling. He doesn't like just catch him with his big arm. He's like, "Hey, I'll just loosely drape myself here, and you can land on me. But now I'll pick you up." Like it is so funny. And here comes Thing. With another trench coat on. He was like, you know what? I just have them. And no matter how much ruckus I cause, I'm just gonna hide it with the trench coat anyway. Then, so finally, 9 pages in, we get a little backstory. We get to see how recklessly, like, they're kind of like really unlikable. And I don't know if that's just the tone of the day or whatever, but you know, he builds this rocket and then he has to break in to launch it himself. None of this is safe. They're gonna get, like, I feel like they literally just went into space to be bombarded by cosmic rays. Because Sue makes the statement, we've got to take the chance unless we want the commies to beat us to space. So that is a good motivation. I love that she's using like a slur. That's amazing. See, the colors are so great here. Tack, 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 tack. That is one thing that was established that has remained throughout. And sort of the way the cosmic rays look. I can totally see John Byrne riffing on it as he's retelling their origin over and over again. Their powers come into play like pretty quickly here. Johnny feels hot. They immediately, like the rocket, I think it's automatic pilot, just takes over, takes them back to Earth. Now that you've all been mutated, Sue turns invisible immediately. Now, this is so interesting, and I wonder if this has been discussed, you know, because I feel like so much is in here haphazardly, and I wondered, like, what the plan was, like, how established it was, like, if they knew, you know, how far their powers went and things like that, because everyone has control over their powers except for Thing, right? I wonder when, how, and if, you know, it was decided that his monster, I mean, obviously it makes the character and it was the best decision ever, but could you imagine a Fantastic Four, how different it would be if Thing were able to go back and forth between being Rocky and human, like, from jump? But I guess we don't know that he can. Like, so much is, like, just thrown at you and like you're just expected to go with it. And you know, as a kid being like excited by this exciting new comic book back in 1961, I can imagine like you're just gonna go for it. And I also loved, I have to say, the motivation, Thing's motivation was like every male's motivation in the 50s and 60s. She's like, you're a coward and you don't want to go subject yourself to cosmic rays. And he's like, I ain't a coward. Pull up the jet. So then they have to so we get the origin, and then we go back to Mole Man. We're like on Monster Island. Kirby Monster. I love this so much. I don't know why this feels so different, right? The evolution of Kirby, like a lot of the things that make Kirby so great, like the dynamic 2-page spreads and like all the Kirby crackle and stuff, isn't super apparent. Like the Kirby tech and machinery was kind of apparent here. And I love all the old science and just like how, I don't know, unsophisticated everything is. It's definitely like a snapshot, like a time machine. Once again, love the wacky cover colors. I kind of love the monsters' faces. Like they always kind of look goofy. So we're on Monster Isle, and he's like, look down in those eyes, like all these monstrous eyes. And if that isn't a Kirby monster, I don't know what is. So we're on Monster Isle. Once again, cracking me up thing in the oh, I also love kind of the creative use of Reed's powers at this point. Like turning your arm into a lasso seems pretty extra, don't you think? Love the ads. Sell Grit. What was Grit? America's grittiest family newspaper. That family newspaper. This is also interesting with the wacky, like psychedelic colors. You get introduced to the Mole Man, and he's like all in yellow. And then the second picture, and this kind of funny too, is like, is this, very much made me wonder, did they go out the gate using the Marvel method? Or was it full script? And I feel like it was Marvel method, and they're still like getting used to it. Because he's like, before we witness the breathtaking conclusion, let's tie up a few loose ends that we may have forgotten about. And it's funny because I feel like it's sort of evident that that's kind of like how comics roll. Like all of this stuff is happening and just like little side things, little unnecessary things. And then it always feels like they hurry up and finish it, like in the last 2 pages. And then we get the second image of Mole Man, and he's like red and pink. So it's like we don't even really know what color he is. It's so interesting. Like now it seems like more of a big deal. Like when a villain debuts or something like that, you're going to get like the full impact of it. I don't know why certain panels just crack me up. I don't know, it just looks silly, right? Could you imagine that in real life? Like the Fantastic Four here and this big ass monster just like casually crawling out of this hole. I don't know, it's just kind of cracking me up. I don't know if this is the first time I've read the Fantastic Four #1, but it's certainly been a long ass time, and I enjoyed every single minute of it, from the house ads with all the wacky sendaways to the art contests and everything like that. Learn radio, television, electronics in your spare time at home. Who knew? Life could have been and was so different back then. I love these Facsimile Editions. Do not hesitate to pick them up when you see them. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button, and I'll bring you more soon.